Rose between two
The roof between two thorns, whatever, so what? All right, let's call this meeting back to order. We're here for a regular session now, and we'll stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner White,
I'm here.
Commissioner Swayze,
Here.
Commissioner Zoll.
Yes.
And sign the journal. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Make the motion we approve as outlined.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, do we have any old business?
Nope.
No, that's business. Mr. Zoller, Ally?
I do not have old business.
You waiting on anybody else to come, Andrea? Okay, well, why don't we just go into your presentation, you won't have to listen to all of our ramblings.
Unless
If
you're asking for
ready.
money, if you're asking for money, we're gonna put you at 3:30 this afternoon.
I'm asking for money.
It's gonna be a long session today, Andrea.
Better not be.
Have you heard of the government shutdown?
We've heard that. Unfortunately, Seneca County hasn't shut down, so.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Do you need me to just sit here?
Whatever
or-
you're comfortable with.
Well, did you all get the request that I sent over for the new computers?
Did Tanya send it to you?
I
see it.
didn't have
Oh.
a copy, I just heard about it.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I gave it to her.
I knew you were
so.
coming, but I didn't see the.
What happened is, in our workroom, where we program the ballots and do all of our reporting on election night, the server is dead. There was a server, back when let me give you a little history. Back when the Secretary of State ordered everyone to go from the punch cards to the computers, the federal government, through HAVA grant money, which is Help America Vote Act, they purchased the computers for all of the counties that didn't already have computers, that had to go from the punch cards. That was in 2000, the computers were purchased in 2005. They were installed in January of 2006 here, and those are the original computers that have been working ever since then. When they came to program, the first time, about a month ago, the server, he could not get it to come up, it was dead. So the server is dead, and the other two PCs that are down there are from the original purchase with the federal grant money. They won't buy them again for us. Now it's our turn. So I got a quote from our computer company that we contract with, ES&S, and I sent that over. Tanya told me to go ahead and put everything I'm telling you basically in writing. And
I see two different numbers. I see 5460 on the front page.
I
and
did
the-
too, then you have to see this down here.
yeah,
Oh, all right.
there's
all
a
right.
fee for this.
Same thing.
Okay.
They did, the gentleman that comes and does our programming, he made it so that we're okay for this election. He said he feels that we should be okay, he's backing up on just a regular PC, but we're also backing up on USB sticks. So, but if there would be some kind of electrical something surging or something, you don't have that separate server with the battery backup that's absorbing all the information. It's not double and triple checking, it's just one place that it's being saved on the computer, so.
But the overall
So-
size of this election probably is a little comfort with that being the case.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That's what, and
Very
he
true.
said that, his words were, we can make it through this election. He is comfortable with that. But they have to be replaced, so I called and talked to Tanya, and she said, just get the request here so that you guys know what, if it doesn't happen in 2013, that this is what we will be needing for 2014, so. She said it's best to get the request in now,
Yeah.
so you know.
Yeah, good,
That's it.
good. Any questions?
Now, the contractor you work with, is that someone like does the Secretary of State have to approve who does that kind of work for you guys? I'm just curious how that works.
They, the company that we deal with, yes, yes, they are
Okay.
approved.
I kind of
Yes.
figured that was
Oh,
the
yes.
case, yeah. That was just not.
Is there any funds available from the state to help towards this, or is it all gonna fall on county?
I only asked about the HAVA grant money, and they said that, no, there was no money for the computers for that. I didn't really go into anything further. If you want, I can check. We'd
Yeah,
have to
I
check with
mean-
our liaison and see if there would be anything else.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I would think
Yes.
so, and maybe talk with some of the other county board of elections and see if they were able to find resources in any other avenue before. I mean, if
Right.
you need it, you need it.
Right,
But I'm
right.
trying to look at if there's other avenues of resources you can get financially. Let's look at that before we
Okay.
make I'm not saying no by
Right.
any means here,
Right,
but
right, right.
if we could reduce what the county's proportion and let them yahoos in Columbus don't print it.
How do you spell that?
That's off the record. Okay.
See what they can pick up by, that would be helpful.
Yeah, I just know that when I talked to, when I asked our liaison, he did say that they're not gonna fund them, the HAVA grant funds
Yeah.
would not be
Yeah.
able to fund.
There may be other
at this-
avenues there.
But I can check with him and see.
And the other place I think we need to take a peek is in your, the sheriff requested a pretty large appropriation last week, and we were able to find some of that already in his budget that we were able to reappropriate. Do you know any lines in your budget that maybe are over? You got a little smaller budget than he's got. Okay.
Well, wait, I was under the impression when we hired a new director over there, that they were basically 5,000 less than what the previous director was making. And does that give you some funds?
Yes, but, well, I'd have to look into that. Also, I didn't get quite that in-depth.
Yeah.
We do hire some people during, like a couple weeks before the election to do things like do the nursing home visits and help out in the office and stuff. I guess I would just have to go through the,
Yeah,
And
but
check.
that would be a normal budgetary item though, wouldn't it?
as far as I know, yes.
Yeah.
I'll have to do some more figuring.
Okay, because
sorry.
I do know specifically, I was talking with Charles Knight on this, and when they made the selection, there was a slight decrease they were gonna put in that position over what the current
Correct.
director was making, and of course, that person's no longer there, so,
Right.
you know,
And there was a few weeks that nobody was there, so there may be some money
Yeah.
in one of those lines.
Okay,
dig a little bit.
so dig a little bit,
Dig a little
okay. We will try to do that.
You can come back in person, or you can send it over
Okay.
to Stacy, whichever you feel
Okay.
comfortable with, so.
I prefer to see her
This is-
here.
This is my first time asking for money, so I guess I
Let me
wasn't
see.
sure how much I
Yeah.
had to do.
Let me say, look at Delbert and the rest there, no. Okay,
You're so
flower
kind, Fred.
between the thorns.
Oh, jeez. Okay, you done with me then,
Yeah, we're
I guess
done
for
with you.
now?
Thank you.
Okay, great.
When is your board meeting again? Because I saw Mr. Fruit somewhere, he says, oh, Charles probably will getting with you, he's chairman, and the meeting's coming, and he rattled it off, but we were standing somewhere and I didn't have any way of writing it down.
It's
And
next Monday at 5 o'clock.
okay, I'm assuming I'll hear from them if they wanted me to be there.
I would assume, I would want me
Okay.
to contact you.
I mean, I'd have to look at a calendar to see if I can, but I just,
Yeah, Monday at 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Holly, that,
It's
we
Monday,
made,
the 8th.
well, you're here for Board of Elections, that was one of the questions I was gonna ask you, Holly, where do we stand at on that?
right
the
there,
request?
they told me they would get back to me when they, and have me come to a
So
meeting.
you've got it, there was a plan that,
I got the information already to show them.
okay, so now you just gotta make the
Yeah, they
presentation
just
to the
haven't,
group.
yeah,
And that would be out
haven't
to-
met when they could handle that, I guess, they have other stuff going on.
Is there adequate space out to?
It's gonna depend on their interpretation of adequate.
Okay, okay.
And one storage room, kind of a thing, but it's the layout, it's gonna be more of an issue probably than, the square footage is, I think, very comparable. And I think the layout is an improvement, but it's not my space to work in, so, yeah, I was just waiting, they knew I had it ready whenever they were ready for the information, so. Hopefully they'll confirm with me if they want me there on Monday.
No one's told me any to put it on the agenda, so I don't know. I
Okay,
mean, no one said anything about you coming, so I
Okay.
don't, not that I know.
that's fine, if they're not ready, that's fine, but I just didn't wanna make sure they didn't
Okay.
assume I was coming in, I didn't know the date. Thank you.
Okay. Is that it?
Thanks again,
Okay.
Andrea.
I'll do some digging,
Thanks,
thanks.
Andrea.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we're ready for the new business agenda.
New business. I have a decrease to the permanent appropriation for the pavement resurfacing fund 201, reducing $1,402,985.46. Let's see, out of their contract services line.
I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the general fund. This is the $12,500 for the coalition study. We're setting the money aside as requested last Tuesday. This is talking with the auditor's office. We're putting it into the other expense line, economic development, for $12,500. I have a resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment within the capital projects fund, 215, moving $7,450 from our contingencies to CSB line. This is for the repairs to that wall. I have a supplement to the permitted appropriations for the general fund. This is at the request of the sheriff's department, doing some alterations from his last request. Requesting $33,120 into supplies, $4,350 into contract repairs, $10,300 into supplies, $22,000 into food, $20,000 into contract services, and $2,000 into uniforms, for a total $91,770. And I have an appropriation adjustment within the general fund, moving $90,000 from PERS to food. The reason there was some PERS available is we've always assumed the PERS rate was 18% for, he called them LE.
There's two different rates of
Yes,
people out
yes.
there, and it's hard to classify them from.
Yep, and he said there's
From our
only actually 3, maybe 4 employees on the jail side that are 14% or 18%. The rest are as normal employees. They don't have that. Depends on the job they do if they're certified to get the 18% for PERS, and there's only 4 people that get the 18% on that side. So that's why we were having trouble figuring out why we had some extra in there. We were just calculating it straight across the board as 18%. So next year I've already changed it in the spreadsheet, so it's calculating it at 14%. We may just bump it up a little bit because there is still a few 18s in there, but so we won't have the extra sitting next
It's
year.
always better to have extra than not enough.
Yes, yeah. So even if I put 15% instead of the 14, just to make sure we're not having to ask for it, but there's no sense in having that much extra in there. I have a resolution authorizing Jeffrey D. Wagner, current president, as chairman of the board of Seneca County Commissioners, to sign the grant application agreements and all other documentations for the Community Development Block Grant FY13 grant program. And that's all the resolutions I have.
Is there a motion that we approve those?
So moved that we approve all resolutions as presented.
Seconded.
All right, any excuse me, discussion on any of them?
Oh, sorry, I marked the wrong spot.
That's right.
I voted for you, you can vote for me.
Yeah. Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Solar?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner Wetler?
Yes. Okay, thank you. Other new business?
Couple quick things. I had, our maintenance department for a couple years now has been trying to baby their John Deere tractor. This year alone so far, and we haven't even got into the snow removal season, they put almost $2,500 into that tractor trying to keep it going. They use the mower, they have a cab for it for winter, and they have the brush for the sidewalks. We go up and down with the sidewalks. And so I told maintenance supervisor last year to get me some of the expenses, what were the cost. The cost is to fix this and then go see what a new one would cost. He only priced one that was the same kind as what he has. It's just a newer version because of all of the attachments will still fit this new price. I don't know tractors, it seems crazy to me, but tractors are expensive, I know. Just for the tractor, $14,573. With all the parts that you would need to go buy brand new parts is about $31,000. So he priced one, so it's $14,000. It's just something to think about. He's not needing it right now, but getting it into the winter season where he gets the brushes out and different things, Like I said, he wrote down, $3,750 is what it would cost. They've done a lot of repairs themselves, which having it for so long has helped, not having to take it to John Deere all the time. So I've asked they pull last year's record, so I know how much last year they spent, but just alone this year is just about $3,700. So something to think about.
Well, they need the
Buy
tools.
tractors on state bid. They don't do a
This
state
one,
bid thing on
I
those.
think it says on
Townships
here.
buy stuff on state bid.
Yeah.
Yep,
I-
it is.
It
State
is
of
state bid,
Ohio,
okay.
ST 15 contract. So it has state term pricing. Original was 19,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're good.
Yep. So something to think about and consider. The only other thing I had, our EMS director has found a grant. It's a workers' comp grant, and it's a $40,000 equipment grant for electric lifts, the lift to get the people in the back, and it's for is it bariatric, larger people, and so it's all automatic. It's the workers' comp is giving out a grant for this, to reduce the potential of.
Back injuries and other things.
But this equipment is about $40,000. The grant is a matching grant. We'd have to come up with $15,000, and they would come up with the rest for this equipment. There's a lot of detailed work into this grant. We have to get workers' comp in here to do inspections, and you guys know his budget. It's very minimal. He doesn't have the funds to come up with the matching funds for this, so he wanted some guidance whether if we need to proceed with it, if the board would be willing to help with this match money to proceed and try to get the grant. I mean, we're not guaranteed we're gonna get it, but he doesn't wanna do all the work, and Tanya will help since she does our workers' comp stuff anyway, so there's a lot of numbers he can get from her. But there was a lot more detailed into getting this grant than just writing the grant, so.
Right.
So if they get this, was one unit that would have it, but when they go out on emergency calls, they don't, I mean,
Yep.
We don't know.
how effective
It's
is it? I
built
mean-
into, the one would be built into our current squad.
So probably do the Echo unit, I suppose. 'Cause it's more central,
Actually, I think they were anticipating putting it in Green Springs squad.
Oh, that'd be the spot, wouldn't it?
Because of
Because of the frequency of,
yeah. And they were gonna,
hospital there.
Nursing home, yeah, nursing home, whatever.
and I think
center.
actually some of the squads have used some of their local resources to buy some of these power cots.
Oh,
They all don't have them, but some of the funds that they get from elsewhere, they have bought an upgrade to their cots. This one, again, is all power. It loads it, unloads it. all by-
what's
all
the
that
frequency
stuff.
of workers' comp claims that we've had in the EMS department?
I don't want to jinx us. It's been fairly good. We had 2 very, very minimal claims this year. I don't think we had any
That would
last
do
year.
the lifting?
Yes, yep. It's just something to think about, but didn't know.
What's the total amount he can get with the grant?
40,000,
And so whatever portion of it, it needs to be matched.
yep.
We'd have
Well,
to-
It's like
15,
a-
we'd have to come up with 15, they
15.
would come up with 25, the
Yeah.
grant.
Yeah,
Oh, so it's not a 50/50, it's, okay.
yeah, it's like a 75-25, I think he said.
And he feels that this would be, is this something he feels strongly about?
Yes.
It is, okay.
Yep,
If it's something he feels strongly about, I would say that we should go ahead and tell him to look for it. That's just my feeling.
What's his deadlines for the, it's like, is this a grant application, he's gotta be filed by the end of October?
no,
He's gonna know,
we've got
or-
we've got plenty of time too. I don't think it's due till the end of November, might even be December. So we have time to, and like I said, it's not guaranteed, so he has to get all the inspections done and stuff, but didn't want to move forward with it because he knows his budget, and he doesn't have it in his budget just to match it, so.
Right, right.
You guys wanna think about it a week? and come back?
I'm a little indifferent about it. I mean, the only thing that sells me is I have a lot of respect in Ken, and if he feels very strongly about it, that goes heavy. But you look at it as one unit out of 7,
Right.
and so
I guess if you could let us know how many of the other units already have something that assists them with the same type of prevention.
Yep. And if this is a grant that we won't know until the next year if they're following up with it again. They didn't do it last year, but did it the year before, and we didn't need it that year, so once this grant is done, they'll let us know if they're gonna do the grant again. So it may be something we'd be able to do. And he said they've always periodically changed the funding on that. It's not always the same, so.
Do you want to put it on our agenda for like
Yeah,
next week
Yeah.
or 2
Can,
weeks or
can
something?
we just look at the last 3 years and see the frequency of workers' comp claims?
Yep, I can
we've
do
had
that.
with that.
3 years?
And then based on that, then I'd be better positioned to
Okay.
make a decision
Sure.
from my standpoint.
Sure.
And I'll make sure, I'll check the deadline again, just to make sure.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
let us miss that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mess
yeah,
it up
absolutely,
for you.
that's-
Yeah.
And that's all I had.
Okay. Holly, do you have any new business?
Yeah, the Volunteers of America had talked to us about needing bond servicing and we are set to have a hearing with them October 15th at our time of our board meeting. Just FYI, when they were interested in talking to us, and this is the same kind of things we've done before. We did Heidelberg's, and we've done other health-related services ones. So I participated in a conference call and just asked them basic questions and so forth about it. But what they're acquiring some property from Mercy, putting up a facility. So it's not a rehab, it's a new facility, and it's a 24, here's my notes. It's a 24-bed tradition, or 20-bed traditional care and 24 geriatric psychiatric unit altogether. So just the basic stuff, but that's the date the hearing has been set for. And I did inquire a little bit and just, I guess, to research a little bit on how we do this and so forth. And just, as Stacy said, it's kind of been the way we have done, as like I said, like we did with Heidelberg. And it doesn't affect, the folks from Squire Sanders and from Peck Schaefer were both on the call. And they said, we have a $10 million bank qualifying limit. And we've already exceeded the limit with Heidelberg, so this will not impact, we start all over January 1st with our limit again.
Okay.
So we're, by us doing this now, it doesn't make us put us in a bad position to help others, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
based on those kinds of requests that may or may not come. I don't know what an average is we do in a year, or,
And the last time we
To
did
be clear
was-
for the newspapers, this costs the county nothing.
yeah,
We're
just a
conduit.
service. Yeah, we're just a conduit for them. But, so I saw no risk to it on our behalf, and based on how we've done things in the past, so that was where that is.
If I can elaborate on that, I've had some, not with the Volunteers of America, and it's certainly a great group and so forth. Well, we did that funding, we were the conduit for the Heidelberg thing. In the past, first I should say, some counties charge for that. They use that as some sort of revenue generating. There's like an admin, not an admin fee, but some sort of fee that's related to that. And I've been approached by SIDEC, I think specifically the Port Authority, because it's got to be a government entity. The Port Authority can use that as somewhat of a revenue generator to collect a fee off of that. Where I guess my thought at a real high level, if this is like for instance, the Heidelberg thing was like a $10 million process, it was like a $30,000 fee that the Port Authority got out of that. So in the scheme of the big picture, is that $30,000 fee a detriment? If it's gonna hurt economic development, I absolutely would be against it. But if it is a way that another government agency that helps the county can use that as a revenue generator, then maybe that's a better conduit to go. And I don't know, I'm just pointing this out. I don't know what's the right way or wrong way. Again, if it in any way that it would stop economic development for the Volunteers of America, this fee that they would have to pay to the port versus doing it through us at nothing, then absolutely I would say, no, we don't want to go through the port. It needs to go through the commissioner's office. Again, some counties, the commissioner's office charge a fee for it. They use this conduit that we have as a way to generate revenue. And also, the port can use it as a source of revenue, which in turn, the port is promoting the county. So it's a way that, so we don't have to support the port as the county, but it's a way by us giving them this tool that they can help us, and where we don't directly have to pay. And again, you look at the scheme of it, if it's a $10 million project and the fee's $30,000, I don't think that's a deal breaker for anybody here, but it's certainly a major revenue generator for the port. So I just think that's something we need to discuss. I know they've approached me with it, and they're going back to the city. From what I understand, there's 3 criterias for these people that want to use this conduit as a way to bond things: the county, the city, and the port. And it's got to be within a close proximity, so they can't go to someone in Franklin County to bond that. It's got to be someone within their locale.
Are you sure of that? I'm not sure. I think we did one for Cuyahoga County or something one time. This is going way back.
I think there's state legislation right now preventing outside of the state somebody coming in and doing it. So I don't know, because of that, that makes me think there's probably no limitations on it by county
Well,
boundaries, but I don't know.
if it is something that they could go around us and go to Cuyahoga or go to Franklin to get it done, then it's not a revenue generator for the port, then we might as well be the conduit then.
Okay.
But what I was told is that it had to be some sort of proximity to where the project was being done. I don't know this, I mean, it's over my head. I just throw this out, food for thought. I don't want to in any way to retract or to not allow somebody that wants to
Right.
The other
create an
problem,
opportunity.
the other problem with that might be, I'm just thinking out loud, you have to start picking projects then. Okay, this one is gonna be a hindrance to them, this one it's not.
Yeah, I said we'd
That's
have to,
gonna be
we'd have to have a
kinda hard to
policy,
pick.
we'd have to have a policy that says we're gonna do up to so many a year, we're gonna do all healthcare related, all service, I don't know, we'd have to
I don't
establish something if we
personally
were
think any
gonna.
of them's gonna be a hindrance. The fees are so small in comparison. Again, it was the $10 million project was generated $30,000 for the port. So if it's a $5 million, it's a $15,000 project. Is in the macro level, in the big scheme of it, is that admin fee a deterrent? I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I can't imagine someone is gonna, like that Mercy's gonna come here and say, well, if we gotta go to the port, we're not gonna do this $10 million expansion because we don't wanna pay the $30,000.
It's, and the dollar figure is, which I did not say, is they're gonna have it written up to 18. They think that they want to have enough. They think it's probably gonna fall 14, 15
Million.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would, but again, that could be a $30,000-$40,000 revenue generator for the Port Authority, which the Port Authority helps
Well,
promote.
How does this sound? These really are great opportunities to help people do something good for the community.
Right.
Our current policy is we do them as long as they don't affect our credit rating or debt or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
And that would continue to be our policy until we change it. And if the court wants to make some presentation to us of why we should change that, we listen to it at that time and make a decision.
Yeah, that'd probably be
And that's their intention, is to make a presentation, but I didn't know there was something that was going on behind the scenes in this.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of these things that
Yeah,
happen.
just follow normal
From
procedure
what I
when they
understand.
ask.
Probably
and-
one a year, maybe,
and the-
maybe
And the ball
every
started
other year.
rolling, so
So
that's.
I told them,
yeah.
I said there was no real hurry. First, they had to get buy-in from the city too, because if they get buy-in from us and not to the city, then it's a moot point.
Yeah, they'll just
People
go
can
there.
just go right on the city and,
Yeah.
but no, I will mention that to them, that they may want to make their presentation so that this board can make a decision if we want to force people to use that conduit or if we want to continue to
Okay.
keep it open.
So for now, the policy remains, anybody that comes to us, as long as it doesn't affect our monitoring, it's not some
Yeah,
business is objectionable.
Yeah.
I have no problem with it. But
Okay,
again,
okay.
it just, I don't want to do anything that would stop growth. I mean, we want to be that kind of,
Yep, that's right,
Yeah.
that's right. We want to be doing good things for the community. Okay.
That's all I had in
That's all you
business.
had. Move back.
I
Where
do
was
have a
that?
resolution to set that time and date, if you want to
Okay.
do that real quick.
Yeah.
I think they had advertised yesterday, so I have a setting time, date, and place for the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to hold a public hearing for the approval of the issuance of the Ohio Healthcare Facilities Revenue Bonds, VOA Rehabilitation Center Project, scheduled for Tuesday, October 15th, 2013, at 10:30 a.m. here at the Seneca County Commissioner's Office.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
second, I won't be here for that.
Okay. Any discussion on that? I think in all this discussion, I want to be sure that the papers and the public realize that we are very appreciative of the Volunteers of America and their huge commitment to our community here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want that to get lost in the conversation here.
In either way, it is no negative effect on our financial status of the county.
Right.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Zoller?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes. All right, did you have any new business?
Yeah, I've got a couple things. I think that, we've talked about the Justice Center and setting some funds aside, and we're now into the last quarter of the year. I think we need to start thinking about that very seriously, and especially since today there was some, what do they call it, reappropriation of, recertification of it. I think it's time that we really start thinking about this seriously. Looks like sales tax is gonna be up slightly too, and with this reappropriation of recertification, I would recommend that we put aside equal to what we did last year.
No, go ahead, you have a comment?
I was just gonna say, yeah, I think we need to seriously start thinking about it, and that's, yeah, I guess I'd like to look at the numbers a little bit. I know it doesn't impact that, but I'll be curious to see what the final, I don't have great expectations, the final casino revenue money comes in from the last quarter, that'll be coming here in a couple of weeks, I assume. The way those usually fall, and like I said, that's not gonna
Yeah.
make it possible for us to do
Yeah.
something that, otherwise, I know that, but just, yeah, I think, I agree with you, it's time to be looking at it.
Okay, one of the adjustments they made was to reduce casino revenue, so that did not come in at projections. There's a quarter to collect yet, but they reduced it by
70.
70,000.
Yeah,
The
it was
original
700.
estimate. So you folks that go to Detroit, shame on you.
You didn't go enough.
No, don't go to Detroit, go to Toledo.
Oh, I meant, what's it gonna
They'd
say?
go broke when I invest there.
Yeah, I think I agree, it's time to set something aside. I don't know that we can match that we did last year. That was the intention of the previous board too, to set something aside each year. If you went with the 400 we did last year, that might make you a little short for unexpected things. We had the sheriff come in, we went to 176,000 last month, last week. Things happen, a year ago, we had a problem with the ICE prisoners and set us back many thousands of dollars. The state cut us in local government funds, 500,000 one year. Things happen, I just want to have a little cushion there, but we do need to set aside something. So if we all come back with a number in mind for either the next meeting or the meeting after and meet somewhere in between.
Yeah.
I'm fine compromise there.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Okay, anything else for new?
Yeah, lots of things. We've got this, the Eagle Scout thing that's coming up here on November 3rd, 2 o'clock at the county cemetery. I don't know, do I need to make a motion or something that we would do a proclamation?
We can do those without a motion.
That can be done that day, and I'm gonna recommend we do 2 proclamations, one for the individual that has kind of spearheaded the project, and the other one for the Troop 444, which has really been kind of the oomph behind the,
If you have specific wording, work with, I know, Nikki do
Yep.
those.
Yep.
Work with Nikki to get specific wording in there, let her draft one up and you can read it.
Yeah,
so
I-
it fits what you like.
I do better on Monday morning quarterbacking if you would do that.
We've heard that.
Just to update, I had a meeting with at City Council last week on updating them on not updating them, they've had some concerns, Tiffin City Council on grant writing and so forth, and just to update this commission, that with Mayor Motz, Mayor Keckler, and myself, we're having a quarterly meeting with regional planning, the grants writer at the chamber, and the grants writer over to Fostoria. There was a little reluctancy to get this three-member group together, and let's call a spade a spade. Sometimes grant writing is somewhat competitive, so Fostoria was a little concerned with that, but we've all agreed that there's more we can get out of it collectively than what it is individually, so we're gonna establish quarterly meetings where the two mayors and myself and the three grants writers can get together and compare notes and see how we can maybe get a little more proactive on that, on the grant writing process. Lastly, if anyone's read in the paper, you know, a couple months ago I mentioned about this Blue Ribbon Commission, and you know, I don't want to. We're not taking any thunder away from the various groups that are out there that are, you know, regional planning and all this and all, or the chamber or the SIDA. But what we're trying to do is get out of the box thinking. It may be what's the right word? Constructive suggestions how that we can, this group with a broad spectrum. We want teachers, and we want rural community, we want business leaders, we want a whole raft of input, and so maybe we can come back with constructive suggestions how we can move the county forward. I say this for the paper, is I'm still looking for a couple members to be part of this, so I get that good cross-section, and so that we, and the time constraint of the whole thing would maybe a 2-hour meeting once every month or so. So it's not something that's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be very time-consuming, but we can set together with this cross-section of different people, and we got waitresses on here, we've got school teachers on here, we've got farmers that are on here, we have business leaders on here. I think that this is something that I think can be real positive and trying to make suggestions can come out of this Blue Ribbon Commission and come back to us and look at things in a different way. So I wanted to get that in the paper because we still need a couple more.
So you have some so far then?
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah,
nice.
yeah, absolutely. And after the letter that was just put in the editor, I've had a lot of response with that, but I need to make sure, I think it's extremely important that we get that cross-section, and not just all business leaders, or not just all from one segment. And so, yeah, it's coming together very well.
Okay,
Last thing,
I think when we all talked about that before, which has been quite a while, was the meeting over at Annika. I think we talked about that. I don't know, it's another group, and I don't throw any cold water on it. You're working hard at this. I don't want to take away from what Tiffin tomorrow and the other groups are doing. I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of frustration. I think that was talked about that night among members, that they'll suggest things like, you know, we all come into office, we suggest things, find out you can't do it. There's going to be a lot of education that has to happen that could perhaps take a lot of staff time. You know, I don't want to throw cold water, and I'm just telling you some things that
it's
there might be a lot of
yeah.
effort for no value.
And I understand it. It's not an easy task. I'm not sure what kind of benefit we'll get out of it, but it is one option to try to move forward.
Because at least we do, like I said, they ever want to talk to all three of us, which obviously that would be you doing that, is the work sessions, and I think they've been helpful. Again, we don't have them all hours of the day, all days of the week, that available for, you know, some people with their work schedules to come, and I think with the quarterly meetings, I think that helped. I think finally saw a little bit of
Finally
improvement
saw a bump, yeah.
with that on the last one in Bascom, but, yeah.
It's just
See
one
how it
other
goes.
avenue.
See how it goes. It's an effort, yeah.
It may be very frustrating, may not accomplish anything, but if we don't try, we don't know. Yeah, so.
Okay, and what was the last thing? You said you had one more thing.
Oh, no, just the last thing that we're putting a railing, Judge Myers asked on I call it the old library. I don't know the names of these darn buildings, but the old library.
Juvenile court building.
Juvenile, okay, court building, that we're gonna, $150 maintenance has got it, they can take it out of their funds. The judge felt the way the doors open and for some of the difficulties sometimes people have getting into there, if there was a middle railing. The problem, it used to have a middle railing, but then when they moved copiers and stuff in and out of the building, it was cumbersome to have that in the way, so they cut it out, they took it out. And the new railing is gonna be there with sleeves, so they can pull pins and pull the railing out and put the railing in, and Dean said he could do that out of his budget, so I'm just informing the commissioners that's being
I
done.
think we chatted about that one meeting too, so that's.
Did we? I didn't even remember if we talked about that. I'll shut up for a
No,
minute.
that's fine. That's what we're meeting for. Nicole, do you have anything else? Any more public comment? All right, any motion to adjourn?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, return to 10.